You unwrap a small bar of chocolate without thinking. The soft snap, the sweet smell. It melts slowly on your tongue, and for a few quiet seconds, the world feels gentle. Like the video, share it with someone who loves chocolate, and tell me in the comments, do you prefer dark or milk chocolate? You can subscribe for more calm stories like this. Chocolate feels ordinary today. You see it at the supermarket. You give it as a gift. You eat it when you feel happy. You eat it when you feel tired. It sits quietly in your kitchen drawer. But this small, sweet thing once carried power, fear, and even danger. A long time ago, chocolate was not sweet at all. It was bitter. It was thick. It was dark. People did not eat it. They drank it. And they did not drink it for fun. They drank it for ritual, for prayer, and for strength. This is not just a story about chocolate. This is a story about people. If we travel back many centuries, we arrive in Central America. There, in warm forests, cacao trees grew quietly. The pods were bright and strange. Inside each pod were seeds. These seeds are what we now call cocoa beans. The word cacao came first. It was the original name. The ancient Maya people were some of the first to use cacao. They did not turn it into candy. They crushed the beans. They mixed them with water. They added chili and spices. The drink was bitter and strong. It was called xocolatl. The word meant bitter water. This drink was special. Only certain people could have it. Kings drank it. Warriors drank it before battle. Priests used it in ceremonies. A ceremony is a serious event with meaning. Cacao was connected to the gods. There is an old Maya story. It says that the gods gave cacao to humans. It was a gift from the divine. Divine means holy or connected to heaven. The cacao tree was seen as a bridge between the human world and the spirit world. Think about that for a moment, dear listener. The same thing that now sits in a plastic wrapper once stood in temples. It was part of prayers. Later, the Aztecs also loved cacao. They believed it gave strength and wisdom. Their emperor, Montezuma, was said to drink many cups each day. He believed it gave him power. In his world, cacao was so valuable that people used the beans as money. Yes, money. You could buy food or clothes with cacao beans. Chocolate was not sweet. It was not soft. It was not comfort food. It was serious. It was rare. It was earned. Then something changed. In the 16th century, the Spanish explorers arrived in the Americas. They saw this dark drink. At first, many did not like it. It was too bitter, too strong. But they noticed how much the local people valued it. One man, Hernan Cortés, brought cacao back to Spain. At first, it stayed inside the royal courts. The courts were the homes of kings and queens. Only rich people tasted it. But something new happened. The Spanish added sugar. Sugar changed everything. The drink became sweeter, softer, more pleasant. People began to enjoy it not only for power, but for pleasure. Chocolate slowly moved from temples to palaces. For a long time, Spain kept chocolate a secret. They did not want other countries to know about it. But secrets rarely stay hidden. Soon, chocolate reached France, then Italy, then England. In Europe, chocolate houses appeared. And these were places where people met to drink chocolate. They talked about politics. They made business deals. They shared ideas. Chocolate became part of social life. But there is another side to this story. And it is not sweet. To grow more cacao, Europeans needed large farms. These farms were often in colonies. Colonies were lands controlled by a foreign country. Many workers on these farms were enslaved. Enslaved means they were forced to work without pay or freedom. This is one of the quiet, painful parts of chocolate's history. The sweet drink in Europe often depended on suffering far away. People in warm lands worked long hours under the sun. Many did not have a choice. I think this is one of the difficult truths about human history. We create beautiful things, but sometimes we build them on unfair systems. Chocolate carried both joy and injustice at the same time. As time moved on, chocolate slowly changed again. In the beginning, it was only a drink. Solid chocolate did not exist. People could not hold it in their hands. In the 19th century, new machines appeared. These machines pressed cacao beans. They removed cocoa butter. Cocoa butter is the fat inside the bean. With this fat, and with sugar, people could make smooth, solid chocolate. In 1847, a British company made the first chocolate bar. For the first time, people could break a piece and eat it. It was simple, it was portable, it was different. Later, a Swiss man named Daniel Peter added milk powder to chocolate. Milk powder is dried milk. This created milk chocolate. It was softer in taste, more gentle. Many people loved it. Another Swiss man, Rodolphe Lindt, invented a process called conching. Conching means mixing and heating chocolate for a long time. This made it smoother. It melted better in the mouth. The chocolate we know today was slowly born. Chocolate moved from being a royal drink to a common snack. Factories produced it in large amounts. Prices went down. Ordinary families could buy it. During wars, soldiers received chocolate as part of their food. It gave energy. It lasted a long time without spoiling. Chocolate became part of survival. And yet, even as it became normal, it kept a small feeling of magic. Think about a child receiving a piece of chocolate for the first time. The eyes become wide, the face becomes calm. There is something about chocolate that feels like a small reward. A reward is something you receive after effort. Even adults feel this. After a long day, a small square of chocolate can feel like comfort. But the story does not end with factories and candy bars. As chocolate spread across the world, it also carried questions. Who grows the cacao today? Who earns the money? Who enjoys the final product? These questions began to grow louder in the 20th century. Some people started to talk about fair trade. Fair trade means paying farmers a fair price for their work. It means caring about workers and the environment. The story of chocolate is not finished. It is still changing. And as chocolate became global, something else happened. It moved into celebrations. Birthdays, weddings, holidays. It became a symbol of love. A box of chocolates on Valentine's Day. A chocolate cake at a party. Hot chocolate on a cold night. It entered our emotional lives. But to understand how it reached this place, we need to look more closely at the journey from sacred drink to sweet gift. Because inside that journey, there are moments of loss, invention, hope, and change. And that journey continues as we move forward in time, into the next chapter of chocolate's long and complicated life. In the late 19th century, chocolate began to change shape again. Factories grew larger, machines moved faster, steam powered many of them. Steam is hot water turned into gas. It can push heavy wheels and turn metal parts. With steam, chocolate production became steady and strong. Before this time, chocolate was still a treat for many families. It was cheaper than before, but not everywhere. In cities, workers could buy small bars. In villages, it was still special. A child might receive chocolate only on holidays. As factories expanded, companies started to build brands. A brand is a name that people recognize and trust. Boxes became colorful. Wrappers became shiny. Chocolate was not only food, it became an image, a feeling. In England, companies like Cadbury and Fry grew quickly. In Switzerland, Lindt and Nestlé developed smoother recipes. In Belgium, chocolatiers made fine, filled chocolates. A chocolatier is a person who makes chocolate by hand. These small shops treated chocolate like art. This was also the time when cocoa plantations spread widely in Africa. Countries like Ghana and Ivory Coast became large producers of cacao. The climate was warm and wet. Cacao trees need this kind of weather. They do not grow well in cold places. But here again, the story becomes heavy for a moment. While many farmers worked long hours, some were paid very little. In some areas, children worked in the fields. The world loved chocolate, yet the people who grew it often stayed poor. This quiet sadness sits under the sweet taste. It does not disappear. It waits in the background. In the early 20th century, chocolate entered a new phase. It became part of daily life in Europe and North America. During both World Wars, soldiers carried chocolate in their bags. It gave quick energy. It was small and easy to carry. Some soldiers later said that a piece of chocolate reminded them of home. That small square of sweetness carried memory. Memory can feel stronger than food. It connects the body and the heart. After the wars, economies grew, supermarkets became common, advertising became powerful, bright posters showed smiling families, children laughed while holding chocolate bars. Chocolate was now linked to happiness. Television changed things again. Companies created short films to sell chocolate. Music played, people smiled. The message was clear. Chocolate equals joy. Yet behind the bright screens, farmers still faced hard work. Over time, more people began to speak about this. They asked companies to pay farmers fairly. They asked them to stop child labor. Child labor means children working in hard or unsafe jobs. Some companies listened. They created fair trade labels. These labels showed that farmers received better pay. They promised safer conditions. The change was slow. It still is. But awareness grew. Dear listener, this is where the story feels very human to me. We love comfort. We love sweetness. But we also learn. We ask questions. We try to do better. As sometimes we fail. Sometimes we improve. That effort matters. Chocolate also moved into new forms. Dark chocolate became popular again. People spoke about health. They said dark chocolate contains antioxidants. Antioxidants are substances that protect the body from damage. Scientists studied cacao. They found it could be good for the heart in small amounts. People started to care about quality. Not only sweetness, they looked at the percentage of cocoa, 70%, 80%, some even 90%. Higher numbers meant less sugar and more cocoa. At the same time, small chocolate makers returned to old methods. They bought beans directly from farmers. They roasted them carefully. They focused on flavor. Flavor means the taste and smell together. They spoke about single origin chocolate. A single origin means the beans come from one place. Like wine, chocolate began to carry the story of its land. This return to craft felt gentle. It felt thoughtful. It reminded people that chocolate is not just candy. It begins with a tree. It grows in soil. It needs rain. It needs care. There is a quiet wonder in that thought. A small bean grows inside a colorful pod. A farmer cuts it open. The beans ferment. Ferment means they rest and change slowly through natural heat. Then they dry under the sun. They travel across oceans. They reach factories or small kitchens. They are roasted, ground, mixed, shaped. And then, one day, you unwrap it in your home. The distance between forest and kitchen is long. We do not see it, but it exists. As the 20th century ended, chocolate became global in a new way. Big companies sold the same bars in many countries. Airports had chocolate shops. Duty-free stores were full of boxes. Chocolate became a gift from travel, a small piece of another place. At the same time, some people reduced sugar in their diets. They worried about health. They read about obesity. Obesity means being very overweight in a way that harms health. Chocolate faced criticism. Some said it was too sweet, too rich. Chocolate adjusted again. Companies made smaller bars. They made sugar-free versions. They created vegan chocolate without milk. Vegan means no animal products. The market kept changing. And still, chocolate stayed close to emotion. On difficult days, people still reached for it. On happy days, they shared it. At weddings, fountains of melted chocolate appeared. At cafes, hot chocolate warmed cold hands. I sometimes think that chocolate holds a strange balance. It is both luxury and comfort. It is both global and deeply personal. It connects ancient rituals with modern supermarkets. The journey from sacred drink to supermarket bar is long, but the thread never breaks. The same bean that warriors once drank before battle now rests in a child's lunchbox. That contrast is soft but powerful. As we move closer to the present, we begin to see chocolate not only as food but as identity. Countries take pride in their chocolate. Cities are known for it. Tourists visit chocolate museums. People attend tasting events. Chocolate has become culture, and yet behind the culture, the trees still grow quietly in warm places. Farmers still walk between them. Pods still hang from branches. The ancient part of the story has not disappeared. It simply lives far from where most people eat chocolate. To truly understand chocolate today, we need to look at how it lives in our daily habits now. Because the story is not only about factories and farmers. It is about how this small, dark gift fits into your life at this moment. And that is where our story gently moves next, into for and the present, where chocolate sits quietly on your table, waiting to be noticed in a new way. If you open your kitchen drawer right now, you might find a small bar wrapped in paper. It waits without speaking. It does not tell you about forests, ships, or factories. It does not show you the hands that harvested the beans. It simply sits there, quiet and ordinary. And yet, it carries centuries inside it. Today, chocolate lives in almost every country. It appears in birthday cakes, in ice cream, in cookies, and in warm drinks on cold evenings. It is part of daily life. Many people do not think twice before buying it. It is cheap in some places. In others, fine chocolate can cost a lot. The world of chocolate today has two faces. One is mass production. Huge factories make millions of bars each day. The other is small craft makers who roast beans carefully and speak about flavor like it is poetry. Both worlds exist at the same time. In supermarkets, you see bright colors. You see words like creamy, intense, extra dark. You see numbers that show the cocoa percentage. You might see labels that say organic or fair trade. Organic means grown without certain chemicals. Fair trade means the farmer receives better payment. These words are new in the long history of chocolate. Ancient Maya did not speak about percentages. They did not discuss branding. No, they cared about ritual and power. Today, many people care about taste, health, and ethics. Ethics means thinking about what is right and fair. There is something calm in this shift. It shows that food is never only food. It reflects what people value at a certain time. Long ago, chocolate showed connection to gods. Later, it showed wealth and status. Now, it can show care for health or care for farmers. And still, it can simply show comfort. Think about a moment when you felt tired, perhaps after work, perhaps after studying. You sit down, you break a small piece of chocolate, you let it melt slowly. There is a pause, the day softens. That small pause matters. Scientists say chocolate can affect the brain. It can release chemicals that make you feel calm or happy. One of these chemicals is serotonin. Serotonin helps control mood. But even without science, people have always felt something gentle in chocolate. There is also bitterness in dark chocolate. That bitterness reminds us of its ancient form. It is closer to the original drink. Some people prefer this taste. It feels more honest, less covered in sugar. Milk chocolate feels softer, kinder. It melts quickly. It is often linked to childhood. White chocolate is sweeter still. It does not contain cocoa solids. Cocoa solids are the dark part of the bean. White chocolate is made from cocoa butter, milk, and sugar. Some people do not call it real chocolate, but it still brings pleasure. So many forms, so many choices, yet all begin with the same tree. In recent years, people have become more aware of climate change. Climate change means long-term shifts in weather patterns. Cacao trees are sensitive. They need specific temperatures. They need rain in the right amounts. If the climate changes too much, cacao farms suffer. This adds another layer to the story. Chocolate is not guaranteed. It depends on nature. It depends on farmers. It depends on global trade. Some experts say that in the future, cacao might become harder to grow in certain areas. Farmers may need to move farms. They may need new types of trees. Scientists are studying how to protect cacao. The future of chocolate depends on careful work. There is a quiet vulnerability here. Vulnerability means being open to harm. Chocolate feels stable in our hands, but behind it, there are risks. At the same time, new ideas continue to grow. Some companies are creating chocolate in laboratories. They try to produce cocoa flavor without traditional farming. And others experiment with new recipes. They mix chocolate with spices from old traditions. They return to the idea of bitter drinks with chili, like the Maya once made. In cafes, you can now order hot chocolate with cinnamon. Cinnamon is a warm spice. You can find chocolate with sea salt. You can taste bars from specific regions and notice differences. One may taste fruity, another may taste earthy. Earthy means it reminds you of soil or forest. Chocolate has become a way to experience the world. Dear listener, there is something deeply human in this. We take a simple plant, we shape it, we trade it, we argue about it, we celebrate with it, we even worry about its future, all because of taste, all because of feeling. I think this shows how small things can carry great meaning. Where a bean no bigger than a thumb can travel across oceans and centuries, it can hold both beauty and pain. It can connect strangers through shared pleasure. The story of chocolate also reminds us of balance. Too much sweetness can harm the body. Too much bitterness can push people away. The best chocolate often holds both, sweet and dark, together. Life is not so different. Now, when you see a chocolate bar, you might notice its origin. You might read where the beans came from. You might think about the farmer. You might taste the difference between milk and dark more slowly. Or maybe you will simply enjoy it as you always have. That is fine too. The story does not ask you to change everything. It only invites you to see more. Long ago, cacao was a sacred drink. It moved through rituals and royal courts. It crossed oceans in wooden ships. It grew in colonies under hard conditions. It entered factories with steam and metal. It appeared in bright wrappers under supermarket lights. It sits now in your hand. All of that lives inside one bite. The next time you break a piece of chocolate, notice the sound. Notice the smell. Notice how it melts. For a brief second, you are linked to ancient forests, to Spanish courts, to Swiss workshops, to African farms, to modern kitchens. You are part of a quiet chain of people who have tasted this before you. There is no need for drama in that thought. It is simple. It is gentle. A small, sweet square carries a long human memory. And perhaps tonight, when you let chocolate melt on your tongue, you will feel not only sugar and cocoa, but also time itself moving slowly, patiently, from tree to cup to bar to you.